Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel. My name's Amanda and welcome to our Summerween vlog. I'm so excited for Summerween. I know this is going to be coming out in August because I'm behind. I've talked about this numerous times in my videos, so if y'all don't know, if you haven't seen my videos, I'm behind for various reasons. One, I'm in a book slump. Two, I'm working on a project that has taken my attention away from reading and editing and doing all the YouTube stuff. So very busy summer for me, but I'm so excited to get into this Summerween vlog. So I want to show y'all, I'm wearing my TBR Scares Me sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt. It's so comfortable, it's so warm, it's so cozy, it's perfect fall vibes, but I love it for Summerween too. It's just the vibe, okay? It's the vibe. I am ready. I'm ready to switch things up. I'm ready to get into some dark thrillers or some scary books, and I'm really excited to start off this vlog with The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen. This is the book that I have decided to start off with. It's not scary. It's more of a thriller, but I'm just dipping my toes in, okay? I have been reading romance, romantasy. I've been reading a lot of those kind of books, and I haven't read too many thrillers lately, and I have not read any horror books in a while. So I'm just ready to get into this. This is an arc. I'm not sure exactly when this book comes out. I've had this arc for a long time, so it is coming out soon. If it's not already, it might actually be coming out in August, but this is Sarah Pekkanen. I read Glass Houses by her, or The Glass House. I can't remember the exact title, and I thought it was okay. So I thought I would just start with this one, and it takes place in a mental ward at a hospital, and you're following a woman who has been accused of murder, and they locked her up in this mental ward, and she decides to get help. She reaches out to her twin sister that she was separated from birth, and the twin sister doesn't know about this sister yet, and she tries to get this twin sister to help clear her name. So that's what I got from the description of this book. Y'all know I love books that take place in mental wards, you're locked in a hospital, that kind of setting, because you can't trust any of the characters and you have unreliable narrator thrown in there, and I love that kind of twist and that kind of mental game. So I know Jen's not a fan of the unreliable narrators, but I like it because I think it just throws that extra level of twist in there, extra level of making you think like, okay, is this real or not real? So I think I'm gonna start off with this one and then move into scarier books. So here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to our Summerween episode. I am crazy excited for it because I am very much a fan of horror and creepy thrillers and all of that. Trying to insert that into summer when it is so humid, so hot outside, and just thinking of fall and everything that has to do with Halloween gives me some encouragement for all of the hot, really gross days that I am not a fan of. It keeps being near 90 degrees, and I definitely can't wait for much cooler weather. I have my Haunted by My TBR shirt on, and I am ready to dig into some horror and some thrillers for our Summerween episode. I have several mood reading options because, as you guys know, if you saw our July TBR, we are definitely in mood reading mode where we just want to read whatever we feel like reading in the moment. And I have had a lot of options to choose from that it gets kind of overwhelming to pick one of them. The one I decided to start with for Summerween is by Jessa Maxwell, and I originally wanted to read a book by her that came out, I believe it was last year. It's called I Need You to Read This. I didn't get a chance to read it, but this one I felt like was perfect for our Summerween. It's called Dead of Summer, and I did start it just a little bit, not too far into it. It's an advanced reading, electronic advanced reading copy, and it comes out at the end of this month. I felt like doing something that encompassed both summer and some of that darker thriller type vibe, and I felt like this perfectly set into that. So this one is about Orla, who had her best friend disappear about 10 years ago when she was still in high school. She has to return back to the New England island town. She ends up finding information that leads her to believe that it wasn't really as cut and dry as it seemed back then. So kind of a typical thriller storyline, and I hope that doesn't disappoint me because I'm really just ready to have like thrillers. I just went through a bout of fantasy, and I definitely need to put a pause button on fantasy for a while, and I want to immerse myself in thrillers and horror. I think I'm gonna do next, hopefully, the audio for, and I might do it in tandem depending on if I finish a different audio that I'm listening to, but I have Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Originally I was gonna do The Stand, but then I realized how long it was, and that's a little too ambitious for this vlog. I think that it might take long, and I am trying to get at least 3 into this video. I might be able to fit in 4 depending on how the audio and physical books that I'm reading for it will go. So I'm going to be reading Dead of Summer. I'm going to be listening to audio of Pet Sematary. I will be back with thoughts on each one of those the next time you see me. Stay tuned.
All right, y'all. I feel like this book has really gripped me, really got me invested in this story. I don't know what to believe at this point. So the story is that Caroline, who grew up very privileged, she had a very rich family. She lives this glamorous lifestyle as a high-class wedding planner, so she plans weddings for other very rich people. Her family is very connected. Her father is like best friends with a senator that is going to be running for president, and just a very, you know, rich people's society. And then Amanda is her twin sister. They were separated at birth, and she had more humble upbringing. She wasn't poor or anything. Like, she didn't, you know, she wasn't neglected. She didn't need anything. She just had a very average family upbringing. She had a very loving mom and dad. They worked very hard. They worked very hard for everything that they earned. They ended up being able to buy a bar. So that was like their family run business. Both of her parents have since passed away, and she has taken over the bar to keep the family tradition going and the family ownership of that bar. And then out of the blue one day, this guy calls her and says that she has a twin sister, and her twin sister has been accused of murder, and she needs to come help her. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm an only child. But curiosity gets the best of her, and she goes to find out more about this supposed twin sister. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Our twist throughout the book, I've already encountered a few, and I just want to leave it open for you guys. You should go into this book a little blind, but I'm kind of like, don't know what to believe. I don't have any theories right now per se. I'm just kind of reading along. I feel like this is a book where I'm not going to jump to any conclusions or come up with theories and try to guess it. I'm just kind of along for the ride. And I have to say, it feels really good to sit here. I haven't sat here to read. I love sitting on the floor. And I know that's kind of weird, but I love sitting on the floor, and then I love this big pillow I got back here where I can lean back against it and just cozy. It's like by a window, and I'm loving the vibes right now. I haven't been able to just sit and concentrate on reading in a long time. But I'm just gonna sit here and continue reading and follow up with some more updates later.
I have some updates about the 2 books I'm reading for Summerween. Well, one audio, one I am reading as an electronic arc. So Dead of Summer by Jessa Maxwell is the electronic arc. And I'm not very far in that one. It's multi-point of view, and I didn't realize that. So it was a little different, a little surprised that I wasn't expecting that it's going to rotate through several different points of view. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but it seemed interesting so far. You don't really know much at the point that I'm at, so I can't really speak about that one. But the one I really wanted to talk about is the audio I am listening to for Stephen King's Pet Sematary. And I feel very engrossed in it right now. I am enjoying it a lot. I had watched the movie several years ago. I mean, it's probably been 10 years even. So I kind of know some of the plot points. And where I have gotten right now is the first point that they have to bury something in Pet Sematary. I kind of already know what's going to happen, so I'm anticipating the next points, but I very much enjoy Stephen King's writing a lot. I am seeing why people enjoy his books. I am very happy that I've picked this one, but I especially have loved the author's note at the beginning where Stephen King talks to why he wrote Pet Sematary. And I love the story of how he wrote it and put it away somewhere because he thought it was too disturbing. He felt that he couldn't publish it. And then when he was leaving one publishing house and going to another one, his contract required him to have one more book. And he consulted his wife. He decided that in conjunction with her opinion, he would submit that and see if they wanted it. And of course they did, obviously. And I love that story alone, but then he talked about some of the inspiration for why he originally wrote it. And he did come upon a Pet Sematary very similar to what's in the book. And I mean physically, obviously not what actually happens in the book, but some of the dialogue happened in real life and he put it into the book. And I just love when you get backgrounds to some of these novels, especially ones that you love, and see what inspiration there was, see what helped put different plot points into the book. I just love those types of things. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's one of my favorite things about reading. I'm going to keep going. I'm about 30% into Pet Sematary. I'm going to read more of Dead of Summer today because I'm a little behind in that one. And I will let you guys know more once I get some more read.
All right, y'all, it's the next day. I'm back in my cozy spot here. I stayed up way too late last night reading The Locked Ward. This book just really gripped me. I just kept wanting to figure out what was happening, what was going on. I have finished it now. I didn't finish it last night, but I stayed up late. I got as far as I could and I just read until like I couldn't keep my eyes open. And then today I got up, I took care of some chores that I needed to, and then I came back to my little comfy setup here and finished the book. And I really liked it. I mean, I can't say it's completely unpredictable, but I enjoyed the fact that you're kind of kept guessing. You are steered towards one character, but you're always thinking in your mind, okay, they're trying to make me think it's this character, so it's not this character. And then you're suspicious of another character. It's that kind of pull and tug. Like I said, I can't say it's completely unpredictable, but I just had a really good time. It was fun. I liked this world that was set up. I liked learning about, you know, some of the parties and some of the upper class drama that goes on. I think that a lot of people like reading those kind of books about other rich people drama because it feels like you are in another world. I mean, at least I am. I mean, I don't go to very expensive fundraising dinners or host like $1 million weddings or anything like that. So it's always fun for me to envision that world that the very upper class people live in. And you know, those people hide a lot of secrets. They aren't always the best people, and they have so much pressure on them to present a certain image that they will do bad things and then do whatever it takes to still hold that image that people have of them. And I just find that kind of psychology fascinating, and it just amazes me. It never ceases to amaze me, the lengths that people will go to hide secrets, whether they are high society or not. I mean, sometimes people do things, and I can't wrap my mind around someone actually doing that, especially for some of the reasons that they do it. So this book just sucked me in, and I read it quickly, and I really liked it. I did like it better than Glass Houses or the Glass House, the other Sarah Pekkanen book. I liked this book much better than that book. That book wasn't bad, but this one was really good. And I think if I don't really like giving books star ratings. I know that can be helpful for y'all, but to me it doesn't really mean anything. Like, I give a lot of book 4 stars for certain reasons. I give a lot of books 5 stars for certain reasons, but even all of my 5-star books are not equal, if that makes sense. It's very hard to rate a book, so I just try to talk more about what I'm feeling. But if I had to put a rating on this book, I would give it probably 3.5 to 4 stars. I do think it was good. It did keep my attention, which is really important since I've been feeling slumpy and books haven't really been trapping me and gripping me and keeping me invested. So props for that. But at the end of the day, it was just a thriller that was fun, fast. It wasn't really like life-changing for me or anything like that. It's not a book that I'm gonna like remember for a really long time, but it was really fun ride while it lasted. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 to 4 stars.
All right, update time on both the books that I am reading / listening to right now. So Pet Sematary is definitely the one going much faster. I have been greatly invested, even though I saw the movie and I pretty much know the ending. I don't know if the movie changed anything. That's the only thing I don't know. So there is a chance that I might be surprised by what happens. And I am nearly at the end. I'm definitely going to be finishing it today. It has been going really fast. I haven't had as much time to read physically, like on the electronic ARC. And to be honest, I tend to avoid reading on my tablet. So every time I'm reading something on it, it has to be so incredibly good and gripping my attention. But Pet Sematary is right now. So I've been gravitating towards listening to that one. And just what I want to talk about is, again, how great Stephen King's writing is. He has so many details and it feels so real that I think that's probably a majority of why people love his writing. And even though, you know, this can't possibly have happened in real life because of the horror that he's describing and the just craziness of what is happening, but it seems so real. His writing is just, I'm impressed. I'm a Stephen King fan right now. Definitely want to read more by him. And this is the one I've enjoyed the most of what I have read. I read Salem's Lot. I can't remember if it was earlier this year or last year, and I did enjoy it, but definitely not to this extent. I am a big fan of this book. I will talk more and final thoughts after I end. The other book that I'm reading, Dead of Summer by Jessa Maxwell, I am also sucked into it. I can tell that it's going to be a really good book, and especially the part I just got past. I'm about 60-ish pages in. Orlo, I can't remember if it's Orla or Orlo, is the one female character who comes back to Hadley Island. She is going back to the house that she hasn't been in like 15 years. And you're getting other characters from this island's perspective. As I said in the previous video, it's multi-POV. So far, she feels like she is being watched, and you're seeing another viewpoint that someone is kind of watching her. But then he sees something when he is watching her house. He sees something that had me like sit up and say, what is happening? And I definitely want to read more. I'm going to spend more time reading that today, but I have a feeling that even though I'm not driving today, I am definitely going to listen to the rest of Pet Sematary, maybe right before I go to bed instead of reading from my tablet. I will be back with more thoughts on both of them shortly.
All right, so the next book I'm going to read in this vlog, and I think I'm going to read a total of 3 books for this vlog. We'll see. I have to kind of time it with what I can get caught up with on editing and what Jen's doing, but I think I'm going to try to read 3 books. So the second book of this vlog that I'm going to read is Salem's Lot. by Stephen King. I need to take this sticker off. It's gonna bother me, but sometimes when you take these off, they don't come off cleanly. So I think it just depends on, okay, this one came off cleanly, okay. But I'm gonna read Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Stephen King is an author that I liked when I read it a long time ago. I read it and I liked it, but then I guess as I grew up, it didn't hold the same appeal, and I tried to reread it and wasn't really feeling the reread. And I have read many other Stephen King books, and there's not been many that I really liked, and I've kind of given up on Stephen King, to be honest, because there's just so many books and they can start out really good, but then it's kind of like he fumbles the ending for me in some of the books. I feel like some of the endings just leave you hanging a little bit. So the reason that I want to read Salem's Lot is because y'all know I'm a fan of J. Kristoff. I love Empire of the Vampire. That is a 5-star series for me. The 3rd book is coming out this year in November. I cannot wait. So big fan of his. And I was watching an interview he was doing, and the interviewer asked him, if you had to pick a favorite Stephen King book, I know it's going to be really hard, but if you had to pick a favorite, what book is your favorite? And instantly, without even thinking about it, he said, hands down, Salem's Lot. Like, this is my favorite, my scariest Stephen King book. So I thought, okay, I haven't read Salem's Lot, so I am going to pick it up. And that's what I'm doing. It doesn't seem like Stephen King has some really long books, and I know this is just a tiny mass market paperback version of the book, but I mean, I guess it is 650 something pages. It just didn't really seem that long. 653 pages. It didn't really seem that long. But again, these are like little tiny pages, so maybe the bigger book is less pages. I don't know. But I'm going to try to give this one a read. It's a gamble. It's a big gamble because of my slump. It could put me in a slump. I might DNF it. I don't know. But I'm going to give this one a read. You know, I'm going to look and see if I can get the audiobook. That would really help if I could also listen to it while I'm working on my projects. That will really help me get through this. So I'm going to see if I can find the audiobook. But for now, we're going to start a physical read, and then I'll catch you all up when I've got some updates.
So I have an update, and I couldn't put Dead of Summer down. And instead of recording, I ended up just continuing to read it, and I really enjoyed it. It kept me riveted, and I did not guess everything. I was right about a couple things, and it had that feeling that I did with Frida McFadden books, where it wasn't necessarily twist after twist after twist. It wasn't like that, but there were a few different twists, and some I guessed, some I didn't. I will go over more in depth when I do final thoughts on all the books, but I am going to read one more because I have some time. We are behind in editing because there's so much going on, behind in getting videos done. So I'm taking a little longer, and I'm going to read The Last House on Needless Street. I might even read another one after this, depending. But I'm going to do audio and physical book for this because I have some drive time that I will have this week. So I have been wanting to read another Catriona Ward. I've heard a lot about this. My friend Hannah was raving about this one. So I am going to read this one, and I hopefully will have a little more updates this time, and I'll let you know.
All right, y'all. I am on page 73, chapter 6, and this book, I mean, I like it. I like it so far. I'm not trying to, you know, make you guys think I don't like it. But I just read a scene that was just really hard. There is a woman that is abusive towards a baby, And oh, I mean, when it comes to abusing children, and it's probably why he puts those scenes in his book, because I think everyone universally can agree that it is hard when there are abuses on children. So there was a scene. It's not that dramatic or anything. I'm not gonna, I don't want to scare you away from reading the book if that's something you're touchy about. But it's definitely a hard topic and a hard thing to read about and start picturing in your head. So I'm going to stop. I have a million things to do. I was able to get the audiobook, so I'm gonna try to listen to more of the audiobook today, and then I will follow back up with you all tomorrow to give you some updates on my progress.
So I got 50 pages in, and it happened when I was reading or listening to a short story by her. I'm confused, and I don't know what's really going on. And I also was starting to question, is this the book that Hannah really liked? So I texted her, and she said yes, she really loves this book. We were talking about it because I was starting to itch to DNF it, unfortunately. But hearing her talk about it makes me want to keep going. I will at least... No, I'm not even just going to give it another 50 pages. I have a feeling that if I keep going, it will start to make more sense. I feel this happened with Looking Glass Sound, and sometimes you're getting information, it doesn't really make sense at the time, but it ends up all coming together. So I'm just going to be patient, and I'm going to read some more, and I will give you guys an update as to what's going on.
All right, y'all, I have a big update for you guys. I actually have finished Salem's Lot, and I could finish it so quickly because I was able to find the audiobook on Libby, and I listened to it while I was working on some other projects that I've been working on. So I was able to get through it quickly. The narrator was great. I really enjoyed the audiobook. I felt like it was an audiobook that was easy to follow. And I do have to say, this is one of my favorite Stephen King books. I have been so disappointed by some Stephen King books in the past. I have books that I have liked. Like, I really did like It. The end of It was a little, I don't know, I didn't really like the ending so much, but I feel like that's a theme with a lot of Stephen King books. I just get into the book, but then the ending kind of just is either anticlimactic, or it lets me down, or it's just the book could be, I don't know. I don't want to critique the king of horror, okay, and or his writing or anything like that, because God knows I could never write a book. But as a reader, that's just some of the feelings that I got with reading some of Stephen King's books. But this book ended well, in my opinion, and this was a fantastic book. It is vampires, and for some reason I did not think it was vampires when I started, and I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why that didn't click in my head, but I didn't know anything about the book except for the fact that Jay Kristoff said it was his favorite Stephen King book. And I have to kind of agree. Like, this is a really good, of the ones that I've read, this one probably is my favorite of the ones that I've read, honestly. I had such a good time. The atmosphere is very dark. This book is pretty scary because it's very mysterious. Like, mysterious? Mystery? Is that a mysterious? That's what I meant to say. Mysterious. It's very mysterious. There's a lot of like unknowns, but then there's a lot of real scary parts. And then it's like unknown. So it's scary and terrifying, but part of that scariness is the fact that it's unknown. So like, you don't know if it's this person, you don't know if it's that person, you know this person's kind of weird, but is it them, kind of thing. Like, that's how I felt, at least, like reading this book. I was kind of and I wouldn't say there's like humongous twist or anything. There's nothing you're like completely blindsided by, but you still have this like dark, eerie feeling. So this was the perfect book to read for Summerween, and I'm so glad that I got it read for this vlog and the Summerween, because it was the perfect vibe. So there is one more book that I want to read, and I thought about not reading this book because I'm so far behind. I thought about just ending the vlog here, But I just really want to read this book, and it seems really creepy, scary, and it's an arc that I received, so I do want to get this book read, and that is The Guest Children by Tarr. This book is coming out August 12th, so it is coming out, by the time you see this video, the book will probably be out, if I'm being honest. So by the time you see this video, you can probably pick up a copy of this book if it's good. But this book, y'all, it's giving me the vibes. It's giving me vibes. I have read the description of this book. It's a very long description, so I'm not going to read it to y'all. But I'm not going to lie, I really kind of don't know. I really don't know what this book's about, even though I've read a very detailed description. I mean, maybe the description is so detailed that you're not sure what it's about. I don't know, I feel like maybe there's so many details that I'm trying to process them all and I just can't. I'm not sure, but I will read like the top little blurb. The search for two missing children goes terribly wrong in this haunting and insidiously creepy ghost story debut by acclaimed showrunner Tarr. And then a little sentence on the bottom, it says, vividly atmospheric, layered and twisty, The Guest Children is sure to appeal to fans of Shutter Island and the others. And I did read Shutter Island, and it was okay. I didn't really love Shutter Island, but I know that that is a sort of well-known and very popular book. They also made it into a movie. So yeah, I mean, that's really kind of all I know, even though I've read the back. I'm anxious to get started in this because it's just giving me vibes. It's just, especially after finishing this, I'm ready for like a good ghost story, a good creepy, woodsy ghost story vibe. So here we go.
I am very glad that I continued on and did not DNF, because literally right after I last filmed, I read a lot of interesting parts with this. There is a potential kidnapping, and again with Catriona, you are getting information, but the way she writes her stories, I mean, I love this woman's writing and the way she explains and describes things, and you don't have all the information. So I have a feeling that there's more to the story, obviously. I think there's going to be either twists or reveals down the line, and I was kind of warned about that anyway, but that's kind of typical with her books, and I appreciate that about her. I do have a lot of drive time that I'm gonna get through a huge chunk of book without doing an update, so the next time you see me, I'm either going to be at a part that I can explain, or I might have finished it, because I have to drive 2.5 hours one way to meet my family. I may not get a chance to do another update, but I will see you once I have more to say.
Okay. Yes, I'm still in the same spot. I just sat here after I turned off the camera, and I was like, well, let me just read the first little bit about this book. And I am all ready to part 2, The Blank Lake. And this book's going so fast. I mean, it is only page 35, so I just finished page 34, and this would be 35. So it's not very far into the book, but I'm sucked in, you guys. This is such a fast, easy book to read. I feel like these chapters just flew by. And so far we are getting the POV of the two children and kind of what's happened to them and how they came to be in Canada and on this lake and at this surrounded by these weird woods, living with this couple, and they are essentially seeing ghosts. Like, you are believing that they're seeing ghosts, and it is creepy, you guys. This feels creepy. Like, this feels like what I wanted. What was that book? Incidents Around the House. This is giving me the vibes that I really wanted from Incidents Around the House, because that book I was so hyped up for it being creepy, scary, and haunting, and it kind of let me down a little bit. It was a good book. I would recommend you read it, but it did kind of let me down. But this is giving me what I wanted when I read Incidents Around the House. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go somewhere and get more comfortable. I'm gonna sit on my couch, get more comfortable, and start reading more of this, because I feel like part 2 is gonna be the point of view of the man that is going to find them. So yeah, this seems like it's the point of view of the man that is gonna be searching for them. So let's just go. Let's jump into it. So far, great start.
Did finish this, and I finished it on audio since I had so much drive time. And there were so many thoughts that I have around this book. And I was immediately texting Hannah because she had already read it. I had a question about something that I didn't completely understand. I think for the most part, I understood the rest of it, I guess, because there's a lot of different parts. Obviously, you have different viewpoints, but then once you get some of, I guess you would call the twist or the revelation, you kind of get some of what's happening. And it's really hard to talk about, especially when you don't, like, if anyone wanted to read this, I definitely don't want to reveal what happens in this book. I think it works better if you find out while you're reading. I think it's a typical Catriona Ward book where so much of it comes together at the end and you start to rethink the whole entire book and things that you have read. But I'm gonna sit on it for a little while. I'm gonna come back and do a final thought on all 3 books that I read. I was gonna go for 4, but I think I need to stop because even though Amanda is behind, I don't want to have too many for this vlog. I think 3 should be good. I think she's doing 2 or 3. Next time you see me, it'll be for final thoughts. I'm also thinking of taking you with me. I need to buy some flowers. It's been so hot though that I almost feel like they're not going to thrive as well. It's just the weather has not been good. But I think starting tomorrow, it's supposed to be not as crazy 90-degree hot. I think it's supposed to be in the high 70s, 80. So it's a little better. I have some time off this week, so I will take you with me as I get flowers, and then I'll be back for final thoughts.
Guys, this book is creepy. I'm currently on chapter 15. But I did skip ahead to see how much further I need to read to get to a good stopping point, because I kind of don't want to put this book down, but I need to. But I have a few more pages. Chapter 17 is going to be part 3. So I'm going to keep reading to part 3, and I'll give you all update later. But oh my goodness, this book has sucked me in. I'm really, really loving the vibes of this book. Alright y'all, I'm back and I have finished The Guest Children by Tarr. And I'm here to finish up, summarize, end this video. Yes, I am wearing my TBR Scares Me shirt again because I can. And I love it, and it's Halloweenish themed. So in this vlog, I read The Locked Ward, Salem's Lot by Stephen King, and The Guest Children by Tarr. All really solid books. No 5 stars for me, but The Locked Ward, really good thriller. It was kind of what I needed at the time. I really enjoyed it. I liked the story unfolding. It was one of those thrillers, I was just along for the ride. I wasn't really trying to figure out or speculate. I was just reading along, enjoying the story, getting immersed, getting shocked, reading the twist, all the good thriller stuff. Salem's Lot was really good. I think it's one of my favorite Stephen King horror books. I have read quite a few Stephen King books, and I honestly have only really liked a couple of them, but Salem's Lot is one that I did really enjoy. I had a great time reading that, and I think it's one of his more solid horror books for sure. And then The Guest Children, which is the newest one I just completed, great horror book, very fast paced. Um, very easy to read. Like, I don't know what makes authors writing easy to read. I guess it could be up to the reader, I guess. And I have no idea why some writers are easier to read than others. I guess that's why I'm not a writer. Because I could just never do that. I don't know. I would love the idea of being a writer. I love the idea of just pulling up your laptop, sitting there writing a good story. But I couldn't do it. I don't know how these people come up with some of the things in their head that they write about, and then to put it in words on paper that, like, lots of other people will be able to read and be shocked and be floored and be surprised and or be sad and be emotional. It's a talent, and I don't have it. But these three authors have it because I enjoyed all of their books, and The Guest Children was very spooky. It was very, very ghost vibey. If you're looking for a horror book that has the setting of an abandoned inn in the middle of a haunted woods where a struggling man gets this job to find missing children, this is a great book. This was actually surprisingly pretty good. It was not 5 stars. It wasn't blowing my mind crazy, crazy good, but it's very solid. It was a very good horror. I do think a lot of people are going to enjoy it, and I do recommend you guys picking this up for Halloween. So those were the 3 books that I decided to pick up for Summerween. I have no idea if that was some of the books from the TBR that I had kind of mood reading. We've been kind of mood reading this summer, really. So I had a list of books that I was considering. I don't know if any of those are even on the list. But let me know what you all think. Fall is my favorite time of year. I love the weather. I love football. I love spooky season. I love reading. I love reading during fall, and I just am looking forward to all the fall books coming out. So let me know what is on your radar for this upcoming fall, because I'm going to be looking for some really good books to read. I've been in a slump all summer, and I'm really, really wanting fall to get me out of this slump completely. I've had some good books where I felt like more interested, and I felt like I'm being pulled out of a slump, but I still feel like my focus is not and my interest is not revolving around books mostly at the moment. So I need something. I need a book. I need a book that's gonna get me. So I don't know. Let me know what y'all are reading.
All right, I'm back. As you saw when I went into Lowe's, they already have their Halloween stuff, even though it's still July. And I thought that was appropriate that there are Halloween decorations out, but I'm also buying flowers, so it's definitely a combination that's perfect for Summerween. And I am sad to be closing out this vlog because I am a huge horror thriller Summerween fan. I feel like I'm always each year I've bugged Amanda, and I don't know how much she is as thrilled with this as I am. This is like my fantasy as to her. This is my love. This is my passion. I do have another one of my Halloween shirts on, but I was trying not to sit all the way back from the camera. I only have physically this one for the 3 books that I read. Other 2 were audio and electronic ARC, which is advanced reading copy. And Dead of Summer by Jessa Maxwell is the one I did as an electronic one. And then, of course, Stephen King, Pet Sematary, I did as audio. I don't even know where to go because I have so many thoughts since there's 3 different books. And it's one of the reasons why I had to stop myself from keep going, because there were definitely more books that I could slot into this episode, but I needed to not make this long. We're already behind in both doing vlogs and Amanda editing, so I can't contribute even more to that. I don't know if I could pick which of the 3 that I liked more. I got very lucky in that I loved all 3 of these books. Loved so much. I am obviously a Catriona fan, and though this one didn't top for me the one that I love by her, which is Looking Glass Sound. I would say it does come very, very close. And something about her writing that I always have to make sure that I'm remembering, especially for this one, is that you really have to think about what you're reading. There is so many levels to what she's writing about, and I feel like she's so great at crafting her books that it just kind of sits with you, these characters. And I was just bowled over about this book. This was such a great book. And I enjoyed it very much. I did do a combination of audio and physical for this one too. Without ruining the ending of this book, it's just what got to me was the way she writes it. It just gets kind of confusing. And once things are revealed, it just ends up making you really think about everything you just read. And I did have to text with Hannah to get her thoughts on some of it. And I know Amanda has read it too. I need to text her and see what her thoughts were. I can't remember if she liked this one or not. I do have a background in psychology. When I was in college, I had an English and psychology major, and I did take a lot of psychology classes. So this one was also very interesting to me through that aspect. And that's all I'll say without saying anything about any reveals or the ending. I definitely enjoyed this one. Stephen King's Pet Sematary for sure made me a bigger fan of Stephen King. I want to read more by him, and I know he has so many books to choose from. I just thought his writing was well done. There's so much in terms of specifics and how it just feels, these characters feel so real. And I love that about writing, when something is just coming off the page and it feels so real. And I love the backstory of how he wrote that book, and I very much enjoyed that one. For Dead of Summer by Jessa Maxwell, that was my first by her. And I know I noticed on Goodreads that I had wanted to read a couple by her as an author. I would definitely return to her. And when I had things revealed in that book for what was really going on, I feel that, how do I want to say this? Because I did really love the book, and I feel like this is going to come out too much of a criticism. I just feel that she could have done so much more with what happened in that book. And not that I really wanted it to be longer per se. I just feel like it was a little rushed. It wasn't super rushed. It was just a little rushed. And I feel like she could have done more with some of the characters in that one too. But I couldn't put that book down. Like, it was so good. I loved reading that book. And I don't think it was just that I didn't want it to end. I just feel like there were some things that she introduces that I feel she could have done just even more with. And I always feel like when I'm talking about some of these books, because I always want to be careful and I don't want to have spoilers and I don't want to ruin it. I know everyone watching can choose to stop when they want to. And if they don't want to know about a book, I know I definitely avoid things if I don't want to know about a book. I just sometimes feel like I am talking so generally about some of these things, and it just hurts. I remember telling Amanda one time that I wanted a video where I just spoil everything. And we may have done a video like that where I just get to talk about everything. One of my favorite things is, like, after I read this one and finished listening to it, I love asking specific questions, like with Hannah, and not worrying about, oh, it's going to ruin it for somebody. Like, when someone has read the same book as you, that's probably why people love book clubs, because you can just talk about it and not worry about ruining anything. But I love then kind of like dissecting, especially a book that you love. I love dissecting and figuring out what something meant, especially when, like with her, sometimes people see things differently. Like, you may see things differently than another person. And then when you hear how that person read into something, it makes you look at it differently. some of the things I love about reading and being a book nerd. So thanks for watching our Summerween episode. I could go on and on and on. I could do 30 episodes of Summerween and be so just entertained because I am just really feeling thrillers and horror right now. It's something that I'm probably going to just keep reading even though we're not doing Summerween. And August is going to be very much a mood month for us as we get caught up on things we haven't gotten to in terms of videos. And Amanda needs time to edit some of these videos. So I have a feeling I'm going to be reading a lot as we get into fall. Today was perfect weather. We've had 90-degree weather for way too long, been really humid. Today's high was 72 degrees. It was just nice and cool and such a reminder that fall is coming because I adore fall. There's a lot of positives about summer. It's not that I hate summer. I hate the humidity and I hate when it's too hot. I'm not a fan of the extreme cold. I really like things like perfect temp was today is 72 degrees. I could have been outside all day. I would have been really, really happy if I just spent time out in that kind of weather. Thanks again, guys. Stay tuned for we have so much coming down the pike from what Amanda is editing. So you will see a lot more videos in August. Stay tuned for those. Let us know your thoughts. Did you celebrate Summerween this year? What are some of the thrillers and horrors that you have read that you've really loved that remind you of anything that we've read? And if you are a Stephen King fan, what is your favorite Stephen King book? I always ask, once I know someone is a Stephen King fan, I ask what their favorite one is because I am definitely going to be reading more. All right, guys, until next time.